Shalom family. So Nasrallah made his speech, Hezbollah. Let's just dive into this and have a look at the key points here and some of the things that came from this. So there's key points in his highly anticipated speech. Number one, Hamas acted alone on October 7. Nasrallah addressed speculation about whether Iran-backed factions were part of the attack, saying the planning and execution of the attacks were 100% Palestinian. He added that Hezbollah was not bothered that the operation was kept secret, saying he understood Hamas' need for the element of surprise. So basically saying they knew about it, but they also knew that they were being kept out of the loop. They weren't involved, right? So distancing themselves from that. Number two, escalation warning to Israel, saying the attacks across the Israeli border would not be limited to the scale seen until now. Nasrallah said Hezbollah's intention was to tie down Israeli troops near Lebanon so they couldn't be deployed in Gaza. He warned that further escalation in the north was realistically a possibility, even as Netanyahu warned Hezbollah they would pay dearly with major attacks. So they're going to continue their attacks in Israel to supposedly tie up the troops and keep them from affecting Hamas in the south. Number three, attacks exposed Israel's military weakness. The October 7 attacks exposed Israel's military weaknesses, and that the United States sending fleets of warships emphasizes Israel's reliance on its allies. Now, unfortunately, this is a good point. There's still a lot of questions that need to be answered about what happened on October 7 in a country where the military is so intense and so involved and so secure everywhere that if a bird landed on a post, it got shot. And then suddenly, nothing, and nobody's there, and then this big attack. But again, they will get to that when they're done and dusted with the Hamas situation and the wars on multiple fronts. They are going to deal with those issues, and the people that dropped the ball there will be dealt with. The fact that Israel is relying heavily on its allies like America and supply of weapons of America has unfortunately got a lot of truth in it. And I think the big lesson Israel still needs to learn here is to start relying on God and themselves. They need to do what they need to do with what they have and trust in the Lord Most High, not constantly hoping that America is going to play ball, because America uses that as a stick to get Netanyahu and the government to do what they want them to do. And that is a problem. Number four, Gaza is a holy war. The Islamist leader made multiple references to the wider holy war against Israel, citing the blessed success of October 7's attack that killed 1,400. He added the lives lost in Gaza, the West Bank, and other fronts were worthy sacrifices because they establish a historic new stage in the regional conflict. I want you to remember that Islam thinks this is holiness, this war. They think that sacrifices are people, children, women, everyone that die. Those are worthy sacrifices. Their religion, faith, is not something you can compare to the truth that we hold on to at all. It is night and day. Number five, Gaza ceasefire and Hamas victory. As Lebanese paper L'Orient Le Jour reported, Nasrallah called for people to work day and night to achieve a ceasefire in Gaza, saying it is Hezbollah's primary goal. He warned people not to lose sight of two short-term goals: ending the war in Gaza and enabling the resistance in Gaza, including Hamas, to triumph. Number six, US has the power to stop the war. Nasrallah addressed the United States saying it had the power to stop the war. He went on to add that the threats the US has made against Lebanese not to enter the conflict does not scare them. Wouldn't scare me either. And that the country has prepared a response against them. See, in a time where Biden is your commander-in-chief, this is what the enemy thinks of you. Hezbollah threatened then on Wednesday to target the European island of Cyprus if war breaks out between Israel and Lebanon. Cyprus will be part of this war too if it opens its airports and bases to Israeli forces, Hassan Nasrallah said in his address. these prospects took a turn for the worse when Hezbollah flaunted then, so threatened Cyprus and tell Cyprus we're going to attack them if they open up their bases or anything to Israel. So we will attack you the minute there's a war. So that's a threat on a third party now. And then they flaunted a 9-minute video filmed by a drone showing civilian and military locations in and around one of Israel's largest cities, Haifa. The video prompted Israeli Minister Israel Katz to warn of an all-out war in which Hezbollah will be destroyed and Lebanon severely beaten. On Wednesday, Nasrallah celebrated the video as evidence of its ability to gather intelligence. Right, so how did that drone manage to gather all that intelligence? The enemy knows that no place in the entire state is safe from our missiles, and it won't be arbitrary. Everything will be deliberately targeted, Nasrallah said in his speech. I'm hoping the Dome of the Rock would be part of those targets. Yeah, by mistake. In response to the threat by Nasrallah, Cyprus President Nikos Christodoulidis said the island was in no way involved in the war conflicts. Not that he should have to explain himself to this guy. The Republic of Cyprus is not part of the problem. The Republic of Cyprus is part of the solution, he said. And our role in this, as demonstrated, for example, through the humanitarian corridor, is recognized not only by the Arab world, but by the international community as a whole. He also said, they should be careful about threatening Cyprus to be involved in this war. So very interesting. I think the big thing here is their bravado and threats. They're quite willing to go ahead with the war, which Israel's already signed off final plans on, so they're also ready to get into it. And the fact that he's threatening places like Cyprus. But the big thing here that really caused chaos is that drone footage, the 9 minutes that he revealed that they have, showing all these places in Israel, and that they are willing to strike precise targeted moments. So, is there going to be a war in the north? Sorry, absolutely. It's here. It's looking at everyone. It's already begun with the exchange of rockets constantly on a daily basis, forest fires, the IDF and IAF striking back in Lebanon already. People don't call these wars anymore. They call them incidents, and they call them responses and those kind of things. Or special operation in Ukraine. They're at war. The war will get bigger as soon as they wrap up Hamas. Pray for Israel.